unsavory witnesses. They were themselves addicts, they were themselves people who had a record of lying to the police and lying in court, and as my submissions made clear, my view was that they had in fact been improperly pressured by the police. They were certainly, many of them, in a condition where they had every reason to go along with the party line rather than simply telling the bald, unvarnished truth. Whether they did or not, I make no comment, but that was certainly in play.
Have you talked to your client?
Oh yes.
And what's his reaction?
Well, he's in shock at this point, everyone would be. He's been in jail for nearly 5 years at this point. He's been aware of what's happened in the other cases. He didn't have any unrealistic anticipation of what I would do in a miracle world. But he's taking it realistically. One of the things I actually found rewarding in this trial is this family has been slandered over and over for their behavior. They behaved perfectly in this trial, as did Richard. There was no outburst at all. It's one of the easiest clients I've ever worked with. I think if anyone can turn it around, it'll be him.
So when would you make a decision on appeal? Was that after the sentence sometime?
Certainly not before sentencing, yes. I think I would have to discuss the prospects with, we have 23 lawyers in our practice. The appeal section is perhaps 4 lawyers with one who does most of the high court appeals. I would certainly want to go over it with him and with the researchers before I made any recommendation to the client. And then it's his decision to make. And I will tell him exactly somewhat more than what I've told you here. You know, the decision you have to make is whether you want to fight like a tiger for every last inch of advantage, or whether you want to say at this point, I'm 30-ish, I got kids, I can do everything I can, start a garage mechanic apprenticeship when I get out, things like that, maximize my chances, address all my issues along the way, put every effort that I and my family could do into an early point. Sorry, who said that? Well, I'm sure the family and friends are inflamed not only by the result, but by the treatment they've had in the hands of the court. I don't ever use the term travesty of justice. I'm not going to comment on the conduct of this trial because to do so would be perhaps to prejudice an appeal down the road. So simply for that reason, not because I don't have firmly held views on it, I'm not going to say anything. Okay?
How unusual was it that this jury kept asking a number of questions?
The trial I just finished in Toronto, the jury stayed out 7 days and came back hungry. It's not unusual, particularly where the issues revolve around concepts that we're familiar with as lawyers, beyond a reasonable doubt, and most particularly planning and deliberation. And to combine those two, could you be sure beyond a reasonable doubt that planning, a plan of some kind, and deliberation were in his mind? But, I mean, let's just take the simplest possible thing. These guys were stoned. They've been doing a lot of cocaine that day. Okay? They may even been doing some alcohol as well. It didn't, I think, to a bystander look like a plan that had any coherence to it. The plan may have arisen to no higher than, let's get those buggers, you know. And that, well, it could be called a plan, but very often it isn't.
Any thoughts on the 2.5-day delay in getting the verdict? Were you anxious at all?
Yes. I'm only 33, I just look like this. It's one of the most stressful. The 7-day one I just had in Toronto, I was having chest pains by the end of it. So it's very, very stressful.
5 years, will that be taken into consideration?
Yes, but only at 1 for 1, not at 2 for 1. His sentence begins at the date he starts being in jail, which would have been August 28th, 2006. That's 4 years and 9 months, approximately. And he will, that will be subtracted from any parole